Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. In episode 194, Room for Improvement, and elsewhere, I've suggested that many parents carry unexamined or unhealed trauma that adds substantially to the pain of estrangement from their adult children. The subtle effects of long-ago traumas often exist in blind spots. You may be aware that your own childhood was far from ideal, but how can you tell if it's affecting how you feel and behave today? And if it is it too late to do anything about it? Well, to help answer those important questions, I'm going to share a couple of ultimately uplifting excerpts from my interview with social worker Pat Patrick. As an experienced educator and consultant, Pat talked us through the Adverse Childhood Experiences, or ACE, questionnaire in a one-on-one chat with me that you can find inside our library at reconnectionclub.com/library. Here's what Pat had to say about uncovering trauma and healing from it at any age.
One of the ways that I like to think of it is when you get a reaction that doesn't fit the situation, something else is going on. There could be a trigger. There could be something that helps the other person feel at risk, in danger. It might not make much sense to me from the outside, but internally to that individual, it makes a lot of sense. All behavior is functional, and that's how that person at that moment is trying to protect themselves in a perceived dangerous situation. Does that make sense?
I think so. And I also think that there are people in their 50s and 60s who may have had difficult childhood experiences and who do find themselves feeling anxious or kind of on edge, almost as a baseline, and they may not be quite so sure why that is the case. I mean, it may not make so much sense to them why they're always on edge, or they may not even realize it because, as I said, it is a baseline. So it's almost invisible how tense they are. Is that something that might be a symptom of somebody who has had trauma for a long time, many, many decades? Is that something they might see as tension, physical tension?
Absolutely. When they've been operating at that level for so long, that becomes almost their normal. And so you're exactly right. There may be indications that something's going on when there's a reaction and the person goes, God, why did I react that way? What was going on with me? That really was not called for. I didn't need to respond so aggressively or withdraw or whatever the behavior may have been. And having that opportunity to go and look at that and say, there's something about this that needs to be addressed. Because the good thing is we have a lifetime to heal from those experiences. So at any point in our life, if we decide that something's not working for us, the way that we think about something, the way that we're behaving in certain situations, there's always an opportunity to connect with someone, whether it's through therapy, through friendships, through folks in our church community, wherever we seek people that are caring and competent, to begin talking about these experiences and processing them. Relationships help us to heal. So the more that we talk about these kind of situations, the more we have a chance to release the toxicity that's connected to what we perceive as a dangerous situation.
Is it ever too late? Can you be too old to heal from trauma?
Absolutely not. You can never be too old to heal from trauma. In the work that I've done within the child welfare system, what I found very often is that when children come into that system, regardless of what their experience of childhood trauma was, it was often very similar to the trauma that their parents experienced when they were children, but didn't get the opportunity to connect with others, to heal from their experiences. So somehow it gets replayed in the next generation. That's nobody's fault that happened, because when we think about trauma and being trauma-informed, we have to remember that we've got to change the conversation. It's not about what's wrong with you. It's about what's happened to you. And when you think in that context, wanting to understand what somebody's experiences were when they were younger, it's a whole different response. It's a much more compassionate, caring response, and it's not about blaming people. It's about understanding those experiences and giving people a chance to strengthen those core protective systems that I mentioned earlier to be able to heal from those experiences. There are many things that we can do that help to increase our positive self-image that we can talk about a little later if you'd like to. Attaching to people that we know are caring and competent, that we want to seek out and be connected to, and connecting ourselves with community groups that are healthy, that again infuse us with energy and positivity about ourselves and connect us with people that give us a chance to talk and heal.
Pat went on to offer 6 evidence-based strategies for increasing happiness, even as we continue to do the lifelong work of healing. And he assured us that it truly is possible to be happier, even in adverse circumstances.
Being happy is a choice. Many of us find ourselves in situations that don't feel good. It does not necessarily mean that you can't also develop happiness within, because that person talking to you or not talking to you is important, and I don't want to discount that. That really is important. But the more you do to work on yourself, to put yourself in a different space, to feel happier, you're not going to go from 0 to 100 overnight. That's for sure. It'll take time to do this. But the more positive you feel about yourself, the more opportunities you will create for positivity in your life. You may find that it begins to open doors that you never thought would open before.
I'm not sure I entirely agree with Pat that happiness is a choice, but I know that to a great extent, healing is. Trauma doesn't heal automatically. When we do the hard work of facing trauma with courage, compassion, and the right support, then doors may indeed open unexpectedly, some for the very first time. To listen to my whole conversation with Pat, which includes a walkthrough of the ACE questionnaire, Reconnection Club members can click on the link in the show notes or find the recording and the transcript anytime under Expert Interviews in the Reconnection Club library. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.